What a nice final takeoff, with all my biodancer family waving me goodbye when I left from Granada. I will remember the nice energy of love and abundance, and the noise of many people talking, laughing, eating. When I will plunge into the timeless silence and loneliness of the desert very soon, I might play this tiny recording of all the noises there, just as a weird contrast. I've never been with so many other bikers in a ferry. They all come from Melilla, the Spanish town on the African continent. And I saw quite some crazy things on the ferry. Have found my sleeping place for the night. I promise, the next ones will be definitely a bit more romantic. I was asked about my real motivation of being alive. Well, my motivation in life is completely shaped by a near-death experience in 2012. Resulting in an awareness that we are all so much more connected to each other than many of us can imagine. Life for me is actually just all about love. Love for everything and everyone. And that's exactly what we all will learn here. To recognize the beauty in everything and to open our hearts wide open. And feel everything what's in there. We are all divine beings, and we live on holy and ancient ground here. I believe there is only one consciousness in the entire universe. There is no separation at all in the end, even if that is exactly what we often suffer the most. But separation is not real, it's just a construct of our own conclusions. But behind them we always long for this holy union. As we often feel not connected in our lives, but in reality we can never ever fall out of being connected with everything. I feel so blessed to be here. The pure nature around me is touching me very deeply. Here I can experience vast nature without any civilization, and there is a compassionate, strong feeling that wants to share this experience with all of you. I think this is so great. It must be shared somehow, because most people don't do such a crazy thing because of fears. The unknown dirt road was surprisingly easy to drive. There were only 2 sand dunes crossing the road, so I had to find a way around them through the soft sand. I was very grateful of the massive 42 horsepower of my old desert whale, who made it bravely through the sand, together with her brand new tires. The only truck I met on this way was loaded fully with people, and it smoked out pitch black exhaust like an old steam engine train. The water in the little well for the goats was crystal clear. The stars tonight were mind-blowing in a pitch-black sky above me. I felt so lucky somehow that I only had a 180-degree sphere over me, and that I always felt the safe ground under me. I just imagined how devastating this must feel if you have such a view 360 degrees all around you. This universe is so much bigger than any desert here on Earth. And even the desert can make me goose pimples by its vastness and amazing large scale. But the universe out there blows all measures completely away. I had found another of these fancy nomad graveyards on a hill nearby. What a romantic way and place to be buried, isn't it? It feels so natural and easy in compare to our strange rules and expensive habits all around dying in Europe. I have waited to see the sunrise this morning, and when the first blink of the sun showed up at the horizon, I felt such a big love for our sun. This great bright star who warms all of us up here every day. Without her, nothing would be here on the crust of this planet. We are 100% dependent to her constant energy. She gives us the light, what enables us to see all the beautiful colors. I felt so thankful for our sun to rise up again, promising a warmer day than yesterday, as I hate freezing. The morning sun is warming me up already. I also feel thankful for the sun who gives me the power to get up every day. We are all so lucky to have such a nice, reliable star nearby, to warm our turning planet up like on a grill. If we would stop spinning, one side would burn so badly and the other would deep freeze. It's so amazing how everything here is arranged. What a mystery to create this kind of green and blue paradise where we are living in. Now I find myself already in the silence of a desert landscape. Only the wind is howling in the little bushes behind me, and some birds are singing happily. They all seem to enjoy and celebrate the sunshine in the morning as well. I went without any breakfast into one of my most challenging adventures I have ever done so far. I didn't take the pretty good track, I turned into a tiny track, and if I had known before how difficult this tiny sandy track would have been, I surely had never done it. But when I got my first serious doubts, I went already so far that I thought it's not a good idea anymore turning around either. So I headed on and on all these 60 kilometers of this very sandy and bumpy dirt road. Somehow I have lost my fear of driving in the sand here. My bike and I know how to handle it. I have learned to guess if it's deep sand, where it's best to stand up from the saddle and use my legs to take away some weight and work with the maximum of engine power. Or I recognize if it's only superficial sand, where you concentrate to keep the steering bar straight while you go through slowly with only a bit of steady power. For many, my little documentary here seems to be the only opportunity to experience something similar like that. Many have their jobs, kids and family, garden or houses to take care of. Others have too much fears traveling in foreign countries or going all alone into such empty areas, or just about sleeping outside without a tent. Or they just can't drive such a fully packed motorbike safely enough, sometimes on quite challenging dirt roads. Whatever, there might be many more reasons not to do such a crazy thing than I did here. But with all my experience as a long-term traveler and motorbiker and mechanic, it felt so easy to me, and it's definitely worth it, every second of it. The desert feels to me like coming home again, and I feel much more connected with myself here. It's actually such a big experience of self-love. Taking care of me in every moment. Drive as carefully as I can. Take rests when I can't hold my concentration anymore for driving. Always eat and drink enough. Move my body when I get stiff from only sitting for hours in a saddle. Sleep enough and feel deep inside me all the time. And then also having the space and time to do what I wish to do in every single moment. What a luxury. It's such a retreat what I am doing here. Such a journey into my inner self. Without anyone to adapt or to take care of. Just to only be with me. And take care of me. And to love myself in every aspect of my life. As a parent, we all tend to forget this inner connectedness very easily. Well, that's my remedy against that. And it definitely works for me. I need to do this once a year, and I really feel it if I can't go. It gives me so much inner peace and power for the entire rest of the year to make it through my daily life with my family and kids. This place is absolutely magic. A tree circle in the middle of nowhere. The wind still carries a lot of sand with it. Haven't seen anybody here yet. Not even heard any car. As if time doesn't exist here anymore. As if I finally was able to still find a quiet and unknown place on this overcrowded planet. Untouched from human influences and without any signs of civilization. Well, I know all that is only an old dream of mine, and some old campfire places and some plastic rubbish lying around is telling me something different, even here. All of the sudden the wind got warmer and then stopped completely, giving me a nice and quiet sunset time, and being able to walk around and take pictures of this beautiful place in these most loved wonderful sunset colors. But then, already in the dark, a new sandstorm began. The wind suddenly has changed its direction from west to north, so my hiding place was no longer hidden. I was now fully exposed to the sand hitting me all over. The grains flew around me like a swarm of nasty mosquitoes. I really had to rush, hiding inside my sleeping bag, always afraid that I might lose some of my well-selected gear. When something got loose somehow, it's gone forever in such a violent storm. I had to tie my sleeping bag on top of my head as close as possible in order to prevent the sand and dust coming in, making it difficult to breathe. I could hear the grains of sand hitting the outside very hard. I felt like in a cocoon. And the storm was noisy and rattling hard on everything that was a bit loose. Somehow I felt like being buried alive. This sandstorm might go on now for days, and I would be trapped in here all the time, inside my tiny sleeping bag. What a nightmare. It was a bit like when you find yourself all of a sudden in a hostile hospital bed with a strong injury or disease, and you don't know how long it might take you to heal or get out again. The only thing you can hold on to is just your hope. I don't know how I managed to sleep, but I finally did. And very early in the morning, still in the dark, this sandstorm finally stopped, as quick as it came on. Luckily, just right in time, because I urgently needed to get up for a pee. And the deep, eternal silence of the desert took the lead over again. The maybe weirdest thing in our society might be that we always have to lock ourselves in to have our privacy. As privacy is such an important need, we are willing to build houses, rent hotel rooms, buy us a piece of land, etc. We need to have our privacy in order to be with other people. Here in Africa, all seems pretty different. The culture here seems not to really know and not really respect the privacy of others. They seem to be always together with others. But on the other hand, the land here is so empty that you don't miss your privacy when you go outside. One of my bit funny measures for feeling safe somewhere is always this one question. Would I be able to have a comfortable shit there anywhere, without fear of being seen or being disturbed? When this is the case, then I feel like home again, wherever I am. I can even be naked here, or sing out loud if I want, or hear loud music whenever I like to. Too bad that this isn't the case often in Europe. Maybe that's why we feel the need to build walls and fences around us, no matter whatever it costs. And when we finally sit inside our rooms, we finally can relax completely and feel our precious privacy, what seems to charge us up again. Just imagine you could feel like that everywhere, like I do here. That's maybe why I really love the desert so very much. Today is a day where I feel very shy of people. I just sank into my inner silence so deep in the last days that I don't manage to handle any other energies anymore. I wanted to do some shopping before I left again into a lonely dirt road section, but I couldn't find the right shops. It seems that they don't have much to sell here anyway. I wanted some fresh veggies, but there was nothing going on in the souk. And the other shops only seemed to have their stupid standard stuff. Well, I just dropped it. I still have enough junk food with me anyway. I let myself be shy of people today and took it easy. These bushes are like armed tiny plantages of green behind barbed wire. And a real enemy for feather jackets. Better not bring them too close together. The recommended dirt road was fantastic. It sent me into another kind of bliss. And I had to take it easy. Day. After only about 100 kilometers, I found a little paradise place under a huge palm tree. It was just too nice here not to stay the entire rest of the day. I also found a little pond of water nearby in the riverbed, and I managed to finally wash myself with a cup and a tiny bit of soap. The first time, by the way, on my 6 days journey now. Surprisingly, I was not really dirty at all. The sand itself is clean here, and it seems to have scrubbed me already, just like water. It feels that I have reached the middle of my journey now already. I question myself what to do next and where to go. I have done a lot of new and unknown roads already, and I feel a bit tired today from all the exciting new adventures already behind me. This town was like crazy full of people, and I have found really great shops here. Now all my boxes are full again with food. What a great success after this kind of nightmare feeling yesterday, not finding the right things I wanted. So the tank is full of petrol too now, and I am heading now through one of the most beautiful valleys of the High Atlas, towards some very outstanding lakes up there. Sometimes even the smallest shade can be enough for a very wonderful breakfast. God, I really love my camping seat so very much. My most comfortable so far possible with a motorbike, and right at the end of the world. There are much more cars here, much more people living here, in proper houses and in tiny villages. Such a different lifestyle than these nomads in the very east part of Morocco, where they live in tents with their herds always beside them. Sometimes sheep, but mostly goats. This time I can feel this energy change very clearly. Another vibe is dominant and even visible. More power lines, more telephone masts and 4G internet more frequently. Here you can see tourists more often. It's near the main way to go south into the sand dunes where the big tourist Disneyland is. I'm definitely avoiding these places for this time. Looking forward to some little towns that fascinated me already a lot. They're like dream towns you might want to try to live in. Still a paradise, like in a time travel 250 years back in time. Rude and rural life with green gardens, water management and animals as in a harmonic coexistence. I had some weird thoughts about consciousness when I looked at this water channel where tiny things were floating by so constantly, while the sunshine is reflecting on the surface of the water. It's all like our consciousness in time, who is focused on the everlasting moment happening right now, while things are coming by and going away again. But they have no meaning to us. The reflected sunshine is like our reflected awareness, who reacts to the always changing surface of the stream of time. In bending these energies always so creatively and beautifully, as only a moment to a moment can be. This night my head was spinning round and round again about all these existential thoughts, and they have robbed my sleep away quite often in the last month. The energies here in this part where I am now seemed so very different. Here I saw amazing big digger machines who were moving mountains for changing cute romantic mountain roads into kind of wide high-speed highways. Here I see commercial signs all over again, standing for hotels to the left and restaurants to the right, who make me more driving faster away from here than inviting me to take a stop here. Here there is so much more traffic on the roads, and somehow I don't like the loud and harsh way groups of kids and teenagers were trying to stop me while I drive through the villages in order to only get the chance of a better bagging on me. In the east part I didn't felt like that at all. I often sensed a shyness combined with a brief waving and often a sweet silent smile. It feels a bit like welcome back into the reality of our modern times. The time travel machine was turning the years fast forward. Who is ruled by the power of money and its mammon. Now I remember again why I don't want to stay in hotels or camping sites, or why I can't really enjoy eating in restaurants. It's something inside me who refuses to take part of this silly game, who everything has to be shiny and polished. At least it must look like luxury, even if it's only superficial. All because you seem to get the right then to ask for a shameless amount of money for it. 100 or 200 dirhams, that's like 10 or 20 euros for a night, might not be much at all for tourists, but for many poor people here it's the entire income of a whole month. Making fast money with tourists seems too easy, so that too many are already trying in this. What leaves many of them in desperation and in a kind of commercial trap. Whoever had set on this fast money often gets absolutely nothing, and mostly only the biggest ones who are decorated in the most colorful way are winning the constant hunt for tourists. So the small ones are trying to cope with them more and more with the same silly things. Like really grotesque sculptures were made as eye-catchers, and certainly everything will be overdone. Be it only in having too many shiny new plastic tables and chairs standing outside of cafes and restaurants, or extra polished hotel signs and blinding facades, up to a big amount of shiny plastic bottles in front of the shops to show a kind of abundance, of course still wrapped in plastic, silently suffering there in the heat of the plain sunshine. Oh, I'm so sick of it. It reminds me to Europe and all our crazy money-making habits and concrete madness, who we really could never did anything against it. Capitalism has put his claws into everything and everybody, it seems, and it's ruling now our minds and thoughts. And to be honest, the most scary thing about this is that most of us seem to be okay with it. Here I be remembered again of feeling so sick of all that almost my entire life, and I could forget all of it so well in the loneliness of the desert. My answer to that was always to try to see the beauty in simplicity, and to refuse the posh and shiny in general. It makes me always happy to search and find alternative DIY solutions. And in my life, I have got an expert in recycling old and broken stuff. I'm getting more content if I drink some good well water out of my multiple times recycled water bottle, alone on a rock in silence with a great view, than having a coffee in a noisy and expensive restaurant. I sit because patience is rewarded with more patience, and it's a way of praying with my whole body. I sit because I'm stubborn, because I want to stay sober. I want to meditate in silence and realize it as an act of self-love, and consciously spending some extra time exclusively with myself. I sit because I need to calm my mind in order to really relax inside my entire systems. I sit because my mind can go crazy sometimes and I can't stop thinking, and this makes me awfully restless, and that's not really feeling good to me. And I don't really like that state of mind, as I can see it happening in others way too often. I sit because I feel my breath and hear my heartbeat. And I love myself so much more when I'm in such a close contact with me, not distracted from anything else. I sit because I want to feel this delicious unity with everything, all and all over again. And that happens most likely when I am very calm and relaxed. I sit because this moment is all what I have, and I keep forgetting that. Coming here to the highest drivable mountain pass was a kind of a shock. I know this very special place now for many years, and it has always been comfortably silent and very meditative to stay here for many hours. But this time there was a kiosk and a tent with a tiny coffee shop, and a Moroccan guy asking me directly the typical questions. Where are you from? Do you want tea or some water or coffee? You also have nice things to sell. Do you want to have a look? Please, mister. To be honest, I just wanted to have some more silence, but I managed to hold on and withstand my first instinctive reaction to flee. I found a good spot to sit a bit beside, and there I sit, already for hours now, and I love it. I don't mind anymore the guy who's running its small business over there. I have reached the most south point of my journey, the sad point of return. entered the much more earthy colored area in the south side of the High Atlas. Here you can taste already the colors of the Sahara. You can literally feel already the very sandy huge area of about unthinkable 2,000 by 5,000 kilometers, who is actually not very far away from here. I have found a very exciting sleeping place while I was strolling around here for a bit. I will be on the rocks again tonight. Now the shades and the colors are increasing from the nearby sunset. I really love this place here.
No, es que mira. Si no está bueno.
No me dices. Me dice lo mismo. Mamá me da porque...
Eso sí que está bueno.
Oye, Alba está afuera, Alba está con el...
Dale.
So many times I have seen just two white butterflies playing so beautifully together around each other. It must be just the right time of the year now when they get together in pairs like that. They reminded me to us humans too, when we fall in love with each other and playing this epic great game of love. I like you and you like me. I love you unconditionally. And you do so too. We tend to see the most beautiful divine beings in each other, just absolutely perfect without any mistakes. Anything seems possible in moments like these, and maybe so it is. It is definitely still one of the most exciting things on planet Earth you can ever experience, even knowing that this is quite a tricky ego game. And Mother Nature helps us here a lot with a good mix of her best hormones, just to get some tiny little children out of us. But love relationships seem not really an easy task in our days anyway. I keep on meeting these butterflies everywhere, and they became now a symbol to me for falling in love and to fertility, reminding me to my 20s, 30s and 40s, when this game of love was definitely the main focus in my life, and I attempt to want to continue it as a good old habit, but other things came into my life who have changed me being such a butterfly. Parenting 2 daughters and finding out the essence of consciousness, having a near-death experience, all that was moving my interest into a transpersonal field. Free love and our communal work here got suddenly far more important, and last not least I was getting seriously into motorbiking again. The silence here is deafening. Soon I will leave the High Atlas behind me, going on faster roads through the plains towards the Middle Atlas. I am heading back. All seem to go very fast from now on. I have reached a very special and magic place with a well, who I know already for many years. Absolutely nothing has changed here, what is very, very nice. People come here to get good drinking water, and the relaxing sound of the water is filling the valley with peace. It looks like someone has put the stone there in the tree, but the tree must have grown around the stone and finally lifted him up. Incredible how strong trees actually are. It's very symbolic for the braveness of taking such an unnecessary load on us in our lives, and still we can grow normal, more or less. What a poor hero, this tree. It looks a bit like an elephant to me. When I think of all these travel reports from some bikers I follow on YouTube, I was really shocked at how overdeveloped it looked like everywhere in the world already. Iraq, Turkey, Mexico, Panama, Venezuela, Sweden, Romania, all these countries I suspected to be still quite natural, but actually it isn't like that anymore. But mostly not so in this part of Morocco I have been, and that's so really good. It feels like the last resort to rest for a while in perfect peace. Going the night ferry seems to be practical, as you can sleep on the boat, and so these 7.5 hours don't seem so long anymore, but I can't recommend it. Being on the ferry can be used to make yourself aware where you're leaving from, what you all leave behind, and where you are going to right now. The sudden change from Europe to Africa or backwards is even more intense if you don't have some quiet travel time there on the endless blue sea, who is already like a desert of water, no boundaries until the horizons. And that's what you can expect here in Africa too. It will blow your mind when you are here, when you really feel it's actually happening there. No boundaries, only the naked bark of the planet, nothing else than nature all around you. Nothing man-made, nothing what catches or distracts your awareness. Nothing to do or say, just to be. Losing slowly the gap between the inner observer and the observed things in our awareness. They melt together. All is just a huge endless oneness. Nothing more, nothing less. Just perfect as it is. Wonderful coexistence. Everything is so naked to our eyes. All is essentially itself, in harmony with the entire universe up there. And we are the lucky bastards who can enjoy the entire creation on one of these good old motorbikes. Who the hell could have thought of a better idea ever? I think it's kind of the essence of what I did here in these 2 weeks. Some here were wondering if I have spent so much time recording my experiences that I missed it out to actually be there. Well, that is right. And it's a very good question, who I've asked myself several times too. And I can only say it was a compromise of both. There was one part not wanting me to do this and take it all just only for myself. And another part who really wanted to share it with others because I love it so much. And I know that many would love to do a similar thing, but can't afford it, or have too many fears around it, or just are not able to drive bike, or live in my wild traveler style, as I am still used to from my 15 years being a traveler. And I honestly wanted also to kind of talk to someone during my journey in order to not feel as lonely as I actually was in all this time. Writing got like an anchor, like a pole to hold on, in this infinity of space around you. But I definitely always took enough time just to be there too. On all these wonderful places I've been, I breathed them in deeply, and I will keep them inside my soul. On my way home I saw this little monument, a reminder that riding a bike sometimes doesn't forgive you one single mistake. You have to be conscious and aware at all time. I'm glad to be home again, safe and alive. 2,740 kilometers in 14 days. Well, that's 196 kilometers a day. I want to say goodbye to everyone who was watching this. Thank you for being with me in Africa. And it would be nice to hear what was the thing you maybe picked up for yourself. Or if there's anything you would like to share with me about it, or any more questions, please feel free to contact me. Bye bye.